Hey folks, and I'm back. As you can see, it's a new day. I'm wearing a different shirt. I'm trying a new angle for the camera. We're going more of a wide range. I wanted to get just keep the background. This will be it. It's just my curtain. So a couple things that I wanted to talk about were the coaches. I went over them in the last video, like who was fired, and I do want to go over who I believe will be the best replacements for each coach. One update that just happened this afternoon. This is being filmed on Thursday, January 13th. I think it'll be uploaded on the 14th, but I can't say for certain. The Houston Texans have fired their head coach David Culley after one season. He went 4-13, and I can't well explain why I didn't like this move by the Texans. Um, for starters, David Culley was given a horrible roster. I think it's kind of honestly it might be an understatement. The Texans had one of the worst rosters in the league this year. They're projected to be the worst team in the league as well by many people. Not me. I think I actually had them at 4-13 exactly. So that's what happened. But despite that, I thought David Culley did a really good job with the situation he was given. He was given a bad roster, chaos all off season, and he produced a very competitive team. And the Texans, I guess, just weren't satisfied. I read a report that they are interested in Brian Flores. Brian Flores would have to be a fool to go coach Texans. I think at this point, why anyone would go um, take the Texans head coaching job would be beyond me. It was a bad job last year, and I actually got a guy who did a really good job, and they fired him for I don't even know why. I can't think of any reason why they would have actually fired Dave Culley. It's not like he did a horrible job or anything, and I mean I know their record wasn't very good, but they weren't supposed to be a good team to begin with. So that didn't make any sense because you look at he went head to head with the Patriots. They lost They almost came back against the Titans in Week 18. So I guess that none of that means anything to the Texans. So I don't understand at all why Cully was fired. I know their owner Cal McNair is not a particularly good owner, and I know that it's technically their vice president. I don't know what Jack Easterby's job is. He's a weird person to say the least. If you don't know anything about him, go ahead and look into him. It's a strange situation. I guess he didn't want me to. I don't really know. I don't even understand. I wouldn't have fired Dave Kelly, but Dave Kelly is gone. So, with that breaking news, we have some more coach openings, and I will just go over the best, who I think would be a great replacement for each opening. Let me start with the coach who was fired first, Urban Meyer. He was fired in week 14, I believe. He went 2-11 as the Jaguars head coach. Jaguars finished year 3-14. Then the coach I believe who should replace Meyer is former Detroit Lions and Indianapolis Colts head coach Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell, he has been in a Super Bowl. He's only, I think, had like maybe two losing seasons as a coach in his career. Um, he rebuilt the Lions. He's very well liked amongst players. He'd be good for a culture builder. I think this would be the perfect fit for Jacksonville, and I don't think they should go looking at. First of all, it's not a good job. Aside from Trevor Lawrence, and obviously Trevor Lawrence didn't have a great rookie season, so that would be in the question. But he's a good talent. But aside from that, I don't think it's a great job. They have a history of losing, so I guess the expectations would be incredibly low. But Jim Caldwell, he has proven to be a winner in the league. I think Detroit, when he was their head coach, made a horrible mistake firing him. I will never understand why they did. So if they bring in Jim Caldwell, I think they will definitely double their wins because this year they went 3-14. I actually thought they might win 5 games. We'll get into my predictions of the season later on. But Jim Caldwell, I think, would be a great fit for Jacksonville. And the next team job opening are the Denver Broncos. They fired their head coach Vic Fangio, and the person they should hire to be the next head coach is Eric Bieniemy, the Kansas City Chiefs offense coordinator. Now, I've been calling for Eric Bieniemy to be hired as a head coach for 3 years now, literally since 2018. I thought the Cardinals should have hired him, and they didn't. 2020, I was saying that. Who was I saying? I don't remember who I was saying. It may have been the Browns. And then I've been calling for him to be hired for a while now, and I think if he were to leave, now is a good time to leave. And Denver would be great. First of all, Denver could steal a coordinator from Kansas City, which would be huge for them. Second, they could actually, with Eric Bieniemy and his play calling, you can definitely land like a great quarterback. If the Broncos can add a franchise quarterback, they're definitely a playoff team because it's one of the better rosters in the league. They're the definition of a quarterback away from being a contender, and we'll see where they go. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is leaving Green Bay in all honesty. But they could always, and if Matt Ryan's available, you can go that direction. The draft's pretty weak, so they'll have to go free agency. But I really like Eric Bieniemy, and I think he would be great for Denver. They definitely need an offensive coach. So that's where they should go. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears opening. Now, the nice thing is you low expectations. You can also grab. You also have Justin Fields, who's very talented. I still don't know if Justin Fields is going to work in this league, but at the moment he is available. So if I'm Chicago, I would hire Buffalo Bills offense coordinator Brian Daboll. Now, I don't know if Brian Daboll would leave for the Bears coaching job. I don't know that I would if I were Brian Daboll. Justin Fields seems to be good, but he's no Josh Allen. And I don't know if I'd leave my really good coordinator job for a Chicago Bears job. Also, the general management position is still open. And so that's also. Now, the nice thing about working in Chicago is that despite my complaints with the McCaskey family, they are really patient when it comes to head coaches. So Dable would definitely get at least 3 years. And usually, if you can't figure it out by 3 years, you shouldn't be a head coach. But he should be the top of their list. And if I don't know that Brian Dable would take it, but if they can get Brian Dable, they definitely should. I actually think he would be a better fit than Eric Bieniemy. And that's something against Eric Bieniemy. I think Eric Bieniemy is great, but I think Dable would be perfect there. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins. This is a team which I don't know why on earth anybody would take a coaching job here, because Brian Flores was there for 3 years and was getting better. Had a okay first season. It's kind of like the Detroit Lions this year, where they weren't particularly good, but they're really competitive. And then the next year they went 10-6, and this year they went 9-8. So they were pretty consistent. I think they need a better offensive line. A lot of people say they need a better quarterback. I still believe in Tua. I think he has earned the right to be the star next year, but we'll get into that later. But Miami doesn't have a good roster, and both management has proven that winning is just not good enough, I guess. Brian Flores should not have been fired, so they are in a tough situation, and I think Kellen Moore would probably be a good hire, but I don't think if I were Kellen Moore, I wouldn't take that job. I would stay in Dallas. So, although that'd be perfect for Miami, at least I think so, I don't think it would be a very good situation for Kellen Moore. I think realistically, Miami's looking at a lot of weaker candidates. Yeah, because they had a really good head coach and they fired him. So we'll see where that goes. But at the moment, although Kellen Moore is great for the job, I don't think he's going to be the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I think this is definitely one of the best job openings. First of all, you're playing in a terrible division. Outside of the Packers, nobody else is good in this division. So that's the great news. The bad news is, and this is going to be bad or good news. It honestly depends who you ask. But the situation, we'll say, is that you do have to have Kirk Cousins for a year. And the nice thing is Kirk Cousins is competent. He's not a bad quarterback. But at the moment, there are a few holes. Honestly, Minnesota is one of the better openings that you could take. I think the Vikings will hire Brian Flores. I also think he'd be the perfect coach for them. Although they went deep, they had Mike Zimmer for 8 years and he was a defensive coach. But I think Flores would be great. He would have a lot better of a culture than Mike Zimmer did. Um, so that I guess that your only question would be Kirk Cousins, and I think they might want to go in an offensive direction, but I think if I were Brian Flores, that'd be the job I would take because Denver definitely can't go in a defensive direction again. This would be the third head coach in the past 6 years now where they've 6 years now where they would have gone in a defensive direction. They had Vance Joseph and he was terrible. Vic Fangio. So Brian Flores makes sense for Minnesota. And now we also have the New York Giants. Oh, good grief. This is the worst opening by far. I would argue it's worse than the Texans' job. And the Texans, not that. I mean, I think Davis Mills is great. I'm going to get into why I think he's great in a second. But there's nothing good about the Giants. Versus, like, at least, I mean, the Texans. They are ran by idiots, but so are the Giants. And the Texans have, I think, some cap space. The Giants have none. They don't even have a quarterback. You don't get Davis Mills in New York. They have Daniel Jones, who is not a good quarterback. They have Kenny Galladay, which that deal has proven thus far to be a huge waste of money. I don't think Saquon Barkley is on the team. I'm pretty sure they declined his fifth-year option, but don't quote me on that. Um, and they don't have a general manager either. So they're in a horrible situation. If I know anything about the Giants, they're going to do something stupid and hire another Bill Belichick assistant. I don't even know who would be the perfect fit for the job. I usually it's kind of the situation where Jacksonville, where Jim Caldwell would be the ideal candidate because he can fix tire fires. I don't know. If you're the Giants, I don't know who you hire. You need someone. You need someone with some passion. The Giants were the worst team in the league this year. I don't think it was actually even Jacksonville. Jacksonville fought with some fire towards the end of the year. Giants just look dead. Um, who could be the next candidate? I mean, honestly, it's difficult to say.